Hey there, out consciousness economics um, and let me fix this and um, Urban Farm Project YouTube channel, um, where it seems like I get to fly under the radar. Anyway, I apologize for my eyes today. They're not totally elongated, but they're in a freaky state. Had a lot of multi-dimensional shit going on last night in well, there's like multiple levels. There's like dimensions that you can pass through, or like stairways go through. Then there's what they like to call the other side. Oh, hi, baby. I'm gonna get you. So this is gonna be quick because we're gonna be going on a walk here, and my baby, she's thirsty. She's thirsty. She's thirsty. Oh yeah, she's so thirsty. She also brewing a dude. Okay. Anyway, then there are other sides. There's like the other side that people get kind of nabbed into. Then there are dreaming worlds. These are where shamans, people of shamanic lineage, or medicine people, have learned to escape through the time continuum cracks. And some of them can be 2 to 10,000 years old and still have their physical bodies. And they pop in and out of our reality, as long as lots of other realities, and they've literally created their own world. So, my lifetime here, I've had to kind of figure out, like what the fuck is going on, so to speak. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and people have zero idea what's going on here. However, they still hold these new age, think positive belief systems of like bullshit. Total bullshit. Bullshitty witty. I sometimes get up to like, 3 or 4 people a month that are finding me and contacting me through the Ministry of Consciousness, where I do all the shamanic work through, who, have gone into other places accidentally, sometimes by using, ayahuasca DMT, where they were not protected by a person of shamanic lineage that this medicine was passed down to keep you safe, to make sure you get back intact. People just like to mess around with things until, problem. Also too, because people are so asleep, they don't even know what's happening to them while they're asleep. And there's multiple things that are going on. There's like ET abductions, gray abductions, and the reptilians are pulling you, over into their other world and really effing you up. Mostly draining energy out of you and raping you. And anyway, so this is where we're going to go today. And I want you all to know that I went to therapy for years. Because back then there weren't, star kids. There weren't people that were awake and aware and knew so much. There was few and far between of us. And most of us had already been captured and put in psychiatric mental hospitals and electroshocked, like all the memories and stuff out of them. Or, they have to go in to the hospital or something, and then something unusual happens to them, like death. So I've been witness to seeing all this stuff for so long, and it's interesting because a lot of the things that I've been telling people my entire life is getting out into the media, like the mainstream media, more and more and more. And we really need to wake up, not just wake up to what's going on this planet and the takeover and the battle and the this and the that, but the other worlds, the other dimensions, the other side, whatever the hell you want to call it. Because that is what we really need to start paying attention to. So anyway, I got rid of the grays, I think, in December 2012. And I had got into the apartment where I was living. I have a blog I wrote on it. It's called My Last Bad Abduction. And it's on consciousnessofeconomics.com blog. You probably have to look for it, but it talks about that battle. And it talks about, how all this shamanic practice has helped to keep me awake and aware at all times. Whether I'm traveling the dreaming world, whether I'm asleep, whether I'm being pulled over into the other world, trafficked back and forth, whatever is happening. Like, I'm fully conscious. I mean, really crazy shit can happen to me in the physical world. And I'll be the only person in a group of like 50 that was totally conscious of play by play of every incident that happened. Well, so most of them won't even remember anything happening. They'll lose complete time and space. Which shocks me, really. I mean, so anyway, I've been lucky to be doing shamanism work my entire life and learn practices to really help avoid the hypnosis that we're put under, the sleeping spell. It's just not, it's not good. And it just gets more and more, I can't really be around people anymore because I can't stand there and witness it and then try to communicate with them. And them being in so much denial that anything had happened or didn't happen and couldn't recall the events and that I'm somehow wrong. And then they want to argue with me. And it's like, I don't have the time, to help you. You can't even do the basic shamanic practices. I mean, come on, come on. Anyway, so let's just make this quick. So last night, I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, just really hot and sweating. And I had been pulled over to the other side. And I had a battle with this reptilian. They're all different kinds of reptilians, kind of thingy. Anyway, so I got pulled over into the other world and I ended up having to have a major fight. I mean, most people like collapse under the fear, but because of the shamanism, I've been frightened to death over and over and over and over and over and over again. To where, it probably would take quite a bit now to frighten me. So when I get into those situations and I get pulled over, and as soon as I notice what's going on, anyway, so I had the battle royal. And then finally, because it was grabbing the energy coming off my spinal column at my tailbone. It was like holding me, and it was trying to keep me from being able to move energetically, like restraining me. And it was strumming, like it was like, my tailbone was a valve, and it was trying to get the energy to drop out of the bottom, right? It was like siphoning energy out of my spine. And, then I was like done. I was done. So once I like fully woke up, then battle was on. And I just fought this motherfucker. I mean, just totally excuse my language, but, I just never know what I'm going to come up against. A lot of us don't live normal lives, and then we're expected to get up and work a day job, and you're like, do you have any idea what I've been through last night? Could you even wrap your head around it? It's worse than any kind of sci-fi movie you've ever seen. Anyway, this kind of stuff is happening to everybody if you're alive on this planet, and in some cases, once they pull your, Peggy Kane has some work. Once you die and they pull you over to the other side, they just continue to do you in, and, they steal the physical bodies of people, and they take them to their other planets and their warehouses, and they eat them after they're dead. And, let me just tell you, there's a book that a Native woman named Sarah Winnemucca. She was a princess. And she was the Paiute princess of the tribe in Winnemucca, the Paiute tribe in Winnemucca. At the turn of a century, she wrote a book. And in that book, she talks about some of these, beings. That's funny. My video just cautioned me. So weird. They're trying to caution me. Oh, yeah, we're going to caution you. Hey, caution you what you're talking about. Caution you to what you're, sending out. Whatever. I'm done being cautious and I'm done being restrained and, I'm done. So she wrote a book that talked about this band of, the Native people just look at things differently. They've lived close to bands of like Sasquatch and, all these different things all the time, and gotten along with them and made treaties. But these particular beings were, elongated head, like those Peruvian skulls. And she talks about the red-headed people or the redheads. And they were a tribe that lived, that's why in Winnemucca, there's some of the oldest, not petroglyphs, but what are the other ones that are carved in? Hydroglyphs. In North America, in the whole United States. It's very old there, very ancient. Paiute people are very ancient tribe. Aboriginal, original people. Anyway, talked about how their tribe kept going over there because they kept stealing the Paiute people's babies and eating them. And they were just really disturbed. The Paiute people are really disturbed. And Paiute people were not fighters. They didn't go and scout people. They didn't murder people. They lived in the desert. So most of their energy, like 90% of their energy, was constantly on food and water. They didn't have time to fight or argue or, fight other tribes or whatever else. So they ended up being massacred a lot. Anyway, so she said, then they started to steal their dead. So when they'd bury people in their tribe, these things were stealing their dead and eating them. And they finally went and tried to make a treaty with them and said, look, you have to really stop eating people. You have to stop eating us. You have to stop eating our children, and you have to stop eating our dead. And if you don't, then we are going to wage war on you. Well, they did it. So in the book, she talks about how they massacred them and they wiped them out because they were eating their people. So there are a lot of things that people have zero idea about. And the fact that we poo-poo this, or we poo-poo Native people and what they know and their histories and their stories, and they're repressed, so that we don't really know what's going on, right? As white people. And you know what? We dumb, because we think we're just working and having a mortgage and, I have a ski boat. Until, something happens where you get to like bump up against some of these other realities and worlds. And you know what? There's not really that much help out there for you. Except for, paranormal investigators, which just aggravate these things a little bit more. And create, more, don't open portholes, stupid thing to do. No matter who or what asks you to open a porthole, bad news, bad thing to do. Okay. Anyway, so I battled this thing and finally I bit it. I bit this thing last night because it was trying to restrain me. It's trying to strum my spine. It's trying to pull out like energy. It's feeding off me. And then I had enough. I just was like, you know what? This is it. So I just went postal and I just battled it on the other side. Excuse me. And then I bit it and it was trying to get away from me and I just had my teeth sunk into it and I was holding on to it and then boom, it finally loosened me. So I came back here about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I was just sweating from the battle, my spirit just had on the other side. And then all of a sudden harsh physical pain started to come over me because they're going to punish me now. Going to try to punish me into submission. Anyway, I just had this massive pain here, massive pain in my hip. It was just throbbing. And then I just breathed through it and I released it. And I was able to kind of clear my spine and kind of reset my spine. And then everything kind of pressurized in my spinal channel in my brain. And then there was like a lot of, stuff that came out, and kind of everything kind of came back together. So I was able to recapitulate it and release it right away. So I wasn't holding on to the post-traumatic stress disorder of it. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to report. But, it's a spiritual battle. It's a psychological battle. It's a emotional battle. And, we really need you, not me, because I'm done my work. And I'm awake and aware. And I'm fighting the fight on the level that I can fight the fight on the multi-dimensional world. You all need to wake up. You all need to get a grip on what is going on in this reality. And hopefully one day people will be more interested in what I have to say and some of the work I do. I would love to be able to speak and lecture around, maybe even write some books on some of the types of experiences I've had, and how I've practiced to overcome them. Anyway, Bridget Lynn Dolgoff, Consciousness of Economics and Urban Farm Project YouTube channel. Be awake. Be aware. Stop being distracted. Stop being distracted now.